Greetings, everybody. It seems that perhaps tonight is the night of Sundays, the last night of the season 2. It is finale time for us, the Project Athena gang. So, for the last time of season 2, after that hype art that we just received as a end of the season gift, which is every bit the coolest thing that I have possibly ever witnessed with these peepers, I am going to give you with this popper the following. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, Grimjack 21502 proudly brings to you your Project Athena Olympians, the aviatrix, the psychic, the sniper, the con man, and the doctor, and together we are going to die. But that's just here and now. We have 2 hours to figure out exactly how this all plays out. But this is season 2. This is the end. This is For Tomorrow We Die. And as we begin, like every week, while this isn't a normal one, it is a time in 1933. Allison, how are you doing?
Hi. It's Allison, everybody. I play Caitlin Jane O'Callahan, aviatrix extraordinaire, protector of the skies, America's flying sweetheart. Kate is a girl with the jetpack, no more secrets and nothing to lose, so bring it on.
Consider it Broughton. And so from Allison, the aviatrix, to the psychic, Lauren, we go. Lauren, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm peachy, Greg. I'm just really excited for everything that's about to happen and just to see where our friendship goes from here. Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm That Saucy Ginger on Twitter. And tonight I am playing Miss Sibella Maria Ives survives esoteric and antiquarian bookstore on the beautiful Lower East Side of Manhattan. I'm a psychic. I got smooched in some showers. I'm having a great time. Well, except for, like right this moment where we left off. But otherwise, perky, peachy, ready to play.
Okay. I'm processing the friendship comment that you snuck in there at the beginning. And I'm good with it. Steven, how is Dwight doing this fine evening?
He's doing good. I love looking at Lauren's faces whenever her eyes narrow at you, Greg, and it just excites me. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. Last season finale, I walked away with 1 hit point, 1 HP. So I'm hoping tonight is different, but the title does not bode well for somebody, and that somebody could be me. So hopefully it doesn't work out that way.
Different in which way? You want 0 hit points, or you want more than 1 hit? Okay, I'm trying to gauge everybody here as we're working with metrics and analytics, and going from the sniper who's all emotion to a man that works with all analytics and gets every angle, make sure that he's critically attacking everybody with failures at any moment that he drops on people at games that you least expected. He's there like a rash. Pop, I'm a critical failure. Strider, how you doing, bud?
Doing fantastic, Greg. All the cool Olympians back in the day, they had Greek gods that they likened themselves to. I think if I had to pick one, I'd go with Hermes, the Olympian god in Greek religion. He was the emissary and messenger of the gods, known as the divine trickster, the god of boundaries and the transgression of boundaries. So I'll try to embody my inner Hermes tonight. So will Elijah. Let's do this. I'm hyped up. I'm pedal to the metal, man. 110%. Let's do it.
That's right. You know what, man? If there was ever a more apt description of somebody, Elijah and Strider are a habitual line stepper. They overstep habitually over the line. So from there until the confines of the medical profession, somebody that has drilled down into the world of atoms and not the world of emotions, we go to Lindy. Greta, what's going on?
What are emotions? They are weaknesses that get you, zombie attacked in a brewery, which then you have to blow up, and it's great. I am super spiffy. I am excited and nervous for whatever is going to happen tonight, but I'm hoping that the story is epic, and I will still be friends with you, Greg. I just might be very sad at you for a long time. So we'll see what happens, and I hopefully won't be crying my eyes out, but we'll see.
These are all great things. These are all great things to one, eye, and two, to not be crying your eyes out, because that in and of itself is not going to help you get through the next 2 hours. Because to recap briefly what we have going on, as you in chat are watching these Olympians, you will see that beneath each of these Olympians, they are now given some Ace of Hearts cards, and these aces denote their crits that they have for this evening. It looks like they have a lot, some of them. They're going to need every single one, as this is a finale that I planned several months ago. And as I told my Olympians mere moments ago, I've been second guessing myself up until this very point, and I've decided I don't need any friends. I'm going to continue with this. I can live a life of solitude and remember the good old days. I have a picture I can look at now. So,
I've known you a long time.
This is okay. Goodbye, buddy. No, as we're getting into and as we're drilling down, if you want to help out the Olympians, you can do so if you follow the donation table below. But beyond that, we just want you to be with us and experience this, the season finale, the season 2 finale of Project Athena. We ended up here in New York after members of Project Kronos freed the Athena Olympians. They have been in New York since, and they are in New York still, as they are within the walls and the confines of Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore. They are watching and waiting after they spent 48 hours. Ozzy just donated 2 crit successes to Lindy and Allison, so you guys now have 3 and 6 respectively, Allison, Lindy, so make sure that I'll keep those on there. And as we are going through here, you guys are inside the walls of Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore. You have each spent 48 hours in different states of preparedness and working with one Elijah Sawyer in various endeavors, field trips, emotional exchanges. And after we have passed through those in the events of the prior episode, Eat, Drink, and Be Merry, we are now here for the Season 2 finale entitled Tomorrow, For Tomorrow We Die. And at the end of the last episode, at the last morning that the Olympians would all be alive, the door exploded as Phil Castillo came into the lobby of Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore, naked, bleeding from the chest, the fire licking up his arms as he desperately tried to control his power, but the wound in his chest preventing him from doing so. And so as he spun and dropped to one knee, he was able to scream out just one thing: Sibella! And that is where we begin the Season 2 finale of Project Athena. You are all here. You are all within the confines of Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore, and without a listen roll, you have all just heard that.
Elijah's poking his head out the front door to see if there's any shit going on out there, if there's someone that shot him or wounded his chest.
Before we get into this, Kiana has donated $15, and I will let you know what that's for as soon as I refresh. Crits for all, additional crits for everybody. So that's Lindy up to 7, Allison up to 4, Sibella up to 1,000, Steve, you're up to 4, and 6 for Strider. So you guys keep it.
Thank you.
You did get nerfed. Well, we know it was going on, but we haven't just brought that out yet. Yeah, I'm sorry, the donation table below is for Firefly because I forgot to update it because I'm not used to doing that yet. But what we need from all of you guys for tonight and tonight only, it is $3 per crit that you apply to one Olympian. $12 we'll give them to all the Olympians. So Kiana has an extra crit there. And Kiana, if you want to give that extra crit that you have to somebody, let me know who you would like it to be. If not, I will award it when necessary. So everyone, let's dive in here. And Strider, as Elijah looks out the window, he sees the following. New York is there, but it is not as you went to sleep. Around you is a New York of the 1800s, wooden, with glass bulbs of gas-filled illumination, as you see wooden structures and dirt roads here on the Lower East Side of what will be the Isle of Manhattan, but is right now simply New York. And as you are standing there and as you are looking around, the sky above you, while it is daybreak, is a deep purple, a very familiar purple, a perhaps comforting purple. And in addition to that, if you would roll me a spot hidden, I could tell you something else.
We will see. Let's start the season finale off right with a fail.
Yeah, you don't pick up anything else other than the sheer shock of seeing this window in time play out before your window of the Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore. And as you look out, you just see something else. What's everybody else doing?
Running to Phil, obviously.
Same.
Dwight's
Dw-
loading his gun. Dwight's getting his gun loaded.
Okay. Greta?
Getting behind cover, if any is available, because if someone's bursting in through the front door of the bookstore again, it probably means something's going to explode, and I remember what happened last time. So
I don't learn my lessons, Doc. I'm picking up that rug, I guess, that we used last time to put out the fire with Katie, to try to be able to get to him safely. You said there's a wound in his chest?
Yes, there is. As soon as you get there, you'll be able to look it over, but this seems to be a very... It's center mass. It looks as if it was placed directly in the middle of his chest.
Does it look like
It's
a
a-
gunshot wound?
When
As
you
I
get
have
there, yeah, when you get there, you notice that it is piercing. If you would roll a spot hidden, I could tell you a little bit more.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, you're distraught. As you get there and you look down, Phil is kind of his back is coming up. It's amazing that this man is still moving the way he is with this wound in the middle of his chest. But he's arching his back and he's pounding his legs on the ground as if he's just trying to will himself to continue to live. And as the blood just seeps out of this wound, it's almost evaporating as kind of lines of fire will travel from his neck and down.
Doc, get over here.
fine.
Now.
I will come over.
Help him. I think
Behind
he's
my
been
cover.
shot.
He does have a gaping chest wound.
We'll do something about it.
She's just getting her bag out, getting the medical supplies.
Greg, can I pull him back away from, like a World War I kind of deal where he would pull back a casualty, like somebody that's injured? If he sees him?
You may want to consult with Greta before you do something like that.
So first aid check, kind of get a grip on what's going on here.
Hold on a second. I've got donations coming in out the yin yang as we get well, first off, Kaylee, 3 crits to Strider and 3 fails to me. We don't have fails in this game, but what I will do is I will just give those all crits to Strider. How's that sound? As Strider gets 6 more crits. Dwight, you received 5 crits from Summer. Allison, Kate received 5 crits from Summer as well. And so Kate and Dwight, I have you both at 9 right now. Strider, I have
Summer
you
is the
at...
greatest ever.
Love you so much, Summer.
Strider, I have you at 12. So let's get these all done because I want to know what we're dealing with before we go in here. Greta, I have
aces.
you... Greta, I currently have you sitting at 6. Is that what we said?
7.
7. Okay.
We
Oh,
don't
and
do fails in this game because Greg's scared of them.
okay. And we have. You can tease me all you want. I'm gonna have the last laugh
Stop,
before these 2
stop,
hours
stop.
is over. We got a bit from Katie comes in for 5 crits to Katie, the love of my life, and 5 to Elijah, the other love of my life. I think I did that right. So yes, so 5 more for Strider and 5 more for Katie, as I am forced to do math, and that's 17 for
What is
Strider,
math?
and I have 13 for Kate, as we are
14.
in it. Okay, 14 for Katie.
Big
And then
match.
who's the other person? Sibella already has a baker's dozen, so I think, wait, how many do you have? You have 13?
And an
Yeah.
advantage.
Okay, I'm going old school with those. All right. So as we get everything in, and as the Olympians feel this surge of luck go through them, as the love and the memories that Chad is feeling for them goes over into their final episode, I am hoping that everybody in both chat and on the screen before you forgives me before the end of this night. There won't, but eventually I hope that you do. So as we're sitting there, Greta, you are treating Phil as you rush up and see this wound. Would you like to roll something to ascertain what the problem is here?
First aid? Can I get a quick? Because first aid's quick, medicine takes a while. So I will roll a first aid.
I'm going to make you roll this at disadvantage. You are rolling this at disadvantage, even though the critical came in. Okay. The reason why you're rolling this at disadvantage is as soon as you start to look at this wound, you hear a voice in your head.
Oh.
You have not heard this voice since the Meadham building, and as it begins to seep into your very brain, you feel your mind begin to shake and quiver a bit as it did before. And this voice comes through and it says, "He's going to die." And as you look, you realize there is a sound coming from Phil's chest. And it is not the air escaping his lungs.
Is it a ticking noise? Or a fuse?
It sounds more like a whirling noise, as if something is spinning.
This is nicht gut.
What, do you not know how to treat a gunshot wound, Greta?
I don't believe this is a gunshot wound. Can I see what the whirling is?
Yeah, you can roll me a medicine check as the first aid basically gave you the knowledge that you just...
Yeah. Okay. Success.
Okay, so you're able to just kind of tilt him to the side as you're kind of evading this fire that's erupting over his body, as the rest of them are trying to put it out and keep it from spreading. And as you turn him to the side and the blood kind of pumps at an angle, you catch a glint of metal inside. And the metal seems to be spinning on at least 6 different directions, as if it has multiple axis points inside, and you see what looks like a drill bit.
That's still moving?
It is still moving, yes.
There is, what appears to be a drill bit, still somehow active inside of his chest.
What do you need to get it out?
I'm gonna open my bag. Do I have anything? Well, I mean, I've got, basic medical stuff, surgery implements. Oh, clamps. I think I could remove this and have him survive.
You roll me another medicine check here.
Okay.
And as you're in the process of trying to figure out a method of treatment for this man in a wound that you've never seen before, and as you're trying to just figure out the medicine behind this, how do you treat something that's currently wounding somebody? Phil goes still as he just lays down and the fire goes off across his body. And Greta, you're close enough. You hear him whisper, "Sibella." He seems to be calling for you.
I go up next to him and I try to keep him awake. Like I take his face in my hands.
You have it, but his eyes are kind of lolling in the sockets as he's not focusing on anything in particular. And he just keeps whispering your name over and over again. Sibella. Sibella.
I want to try to, can I try to, do as much of a reading as I can to try to figure out what he's trying to tell me so he doesn't have to talk?
Yeah, you can try to do this. I still want Greta to, I'm assuming she's continuing in her advancements.
I rolled a 59. A success.
Okay. You think you can get it out of his chest, but it's going to take crackerjack timing. So if
Can
this
I-
is go ahead, Kate.
As soon as I heard that it was something mechanical, can I potentially assist here with mechanical?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And yes, that would definitely help. So any
I'm in.
advantage, whoever wants to roll, who's going to be rolling with advantage, whether it is Kate or it is Greta. Strider, I'm assuming that Elijah has joined everybody in the lobby, or is he maintaining a view out the window upstairs?
He's keeping a lookout. He comes downstairs and he's looking out the front of the store. But yeah, he's trying to keep a lookout. Something's going on.
Okay, as you're looking out, you hear a rumbling down the dusty dirt streets, and because these streets are ground and not stone or not asphalt or not any type of more conductive material, you see one of those creatures that you saw in Borneo, the one that you were able to blow up from the back of the truck, lumber down the street as it looks up and its head splits open as it screams, and everybody hears the as it goes over and pads down deeper into the Lower East Side. Power roll from Sibella if you're going to try this.
Crit that.
Okay. So with the crit expenditure, you are able to slip into the field, and as you do so, it's not, you kind of pass through that turpentine fingerprint, but it seems not as prevalent right now. It seems as if it is diluted a bit. And as you slip through it, it's almost as if you're passing through like a light waterfall or a shower. And as you look around, you are underneath a shower head, and Phil Castillo is standing in front of you, but his face is downturned. Hey, Sibella.
Yes.
I ain't got much time.
You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Greta's working on you.
I need you to do something for me, all right? I need you to tell the crowd, don't touch it. It'll blow up. They got me. I never thought they would, but they got me, so I just wanted to, I'm glad we could talk, one more time.
You should have just run.
For the first time in my life, I tried. I just didn't run fast enough. Guy I was running from was, he's pretty fast. So, wanted you to know it was fun. And it's at this moment that you realize that something else is there. As the steam of the shower parts a bit, and you see a small man standing there, maybe 5 feet tall. He doesn't appear to have any hair on his body whatsoever. No eyebrows, no eyelashes, no hair on his head. He is completely naked, but he seems genderless, as none of the sexual organs are prevalent. He's more like a statue or a mannequin. He's just smooth. And he's purple. I can help him, the man says.
How?
Let me take him. At this point, you realize that Phil is not moving. He's just staring straight ahead.
Take him where?
It will buy him time. That is the best that I can do.
How can I find him again?
You will find him soon. But he will die if you leave him here.
Will he be safe where you're taking him?
No, but he will be alive.
You promise?
Do I have to? At this point, the man, who is only about 5 feet tall, he walks forward and he gets close to you, Sibella, as he looks up. And you can feel that he wants to almost take your hand or touch your hair or caress you in some type of non-sexual way, almost as a parental type of acknowledgement. I have missed you, my child. And he turns around and he hugs Phil Castillo. And you are back in Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore. And Greta, just as you are leaning over to extract what is from the chest of Phil Castillo, his body evaporates in purple mist.
I kind of like sit back up straight. Put my tools in my bag. Go, I guess, kind of shrug.
I run into and I just start crying.
Well, what happened? What happened?
He's just somewhere else right now.
Kate is kind of stunned for just a moment, and then she says, Sibella, I gotta go see what's going on. And she pulls away and heads over toward the door where Elijah is, to see what that noise was coming from outside.
Elijah's very quietly and carefully closing the door that Phil burst through. You can still look out the window. He kind of turns around. I can't always trust my eyes. Captain, tell me what you see out there.
Am I perceiving the same thing that he saw earlier?
Roll spot hidden for me. Yes, you see what he saw, but you can roll spot hidden as well.
Success.
In addition to what I described before as this 1800s New York, with screams that are kind of floating in various stages of terror down the streets, as you can hear the civilian traffic of Manhattan being subjected to whatever transformation has occurred. You don't see anybody, though. You hear screams that seem to be within eyesight, definitely, but you don't see anybody creating these sounds. You just hear the residual. You just hear these echoes of terror. And as you look around, you see and feel more than anything else these vibrations of massive movement, of something that is bigger than any subway car or any bus that might be rumbling through these streets, as this land has been captured. And what causes you a sense of dread, perhaps more profound than the transformation, is that you recognize it. You see hints of the hilltop in Borneo. You see that certain elements of the flower boxes that line this street on the Lower East Side have begun to be represented by these bizarre fruit plants and weirdly shaded flowers that you all saw in Borneo. And as you're kind of taking all of this ground level in, as the eyes of America's flying sweetheart are often wont to do, you track to the purple skies, and it is just then cresting over one of the buildings on the opposite street, just enough to see it in the air. You see a terrible fight in the sky as the Graf Zeppelin seems to be doing battle with at least a dozen, if not two, of these bat-winged dragons that you have come to know. And it appears to be losing.
Kate. Kate shakes her head and rubs her eyes and then refocuses. Did Elijah actually go outside? Has anybody been out the front door? Okay. And you closed the door, right? Yeah, I see what you see, I think. And with that, she turns back around and with her back to the door and says, Olympians, we got ourselves a problem.
It's at this point, Greta, that you realize that there is a small purple man reading a book in the far corner, a man that nobody else seems to notice.
Great. Can I kind of like look at him and look at the people and look at him and look at everybody else? If they don't seem to have noticed him, I guess I'll just kind of look at him like, what?
I'd like everybody in the room but Greta to roll me a power check, please.
Extreme.
And I'm
Asha
gonna
gets an extreme because he's apparently good at what the other Olympians are good at.
Fail.
I roll with advantage on all power checks, so
Thank
hard,
goodness.
hard success.
Okay, Greta, as you are looking at the purple man that is in the corner there, this, again, the description is the same. There are no clothes, genderless. You can tell it's masculine-esque in that it's just sort of not live. It just seems, stereotypically masculine in that it's got just, broader shoulders and whatnot, but that may or may not be the assignment that is correct. It's very difficult. As a physician, it'd be impossible. But as you're standing there and looking, the rest of the Olympians see Dwight fall over.
Can someone get him up, please?
Kate's over as quickly as she can, and down next to him. What do I see?
You would see Dwight staring off into like the middle distance. His eyes are focused on something, but as you move him or as he is moved, that point seems to stay like 25, 30 yards directly in front of him. His eyes don't track to the right or the left. It's like a fixed point.
He's breathing though.
Seems to be.
Is this similar to the condition that we saw Jack in?
Identical.
Greg, we've been seeing lots of purple apparently. Can I pop out the pocket watch and see if it's doing anything weird?
Sure.
I do that.
It is spinning. Rhyme nor reason. Just the hands are constantly spinning. The little purple man looks over at Greta and with the book beckons her over to him.
Greta will comply. Does anybody
When-
else see him, or is it just Greta?
Yeah, that's what
You
I'm
would-
wondering.
You would see Greta walking over to the corner, but no one would see anybody else there.
Okay.
Doctor, can you come take a look at him, please?
You would not hear Kate.
Oh, okay. I ignore you then.
As you get over, he pulls a book out and puts it in your hands. And on the front cover, written in a language that you shouldn't understand, you read Oculan Rift.
Okay. Was ist das?
The fold has begun. And he looks at you, and if the featureless, hairless face could be said to smirk, it does. And worlds are like days, similar in many respects, but different when looked at in mass. That is where we are. They are using me. Your true enemy is using me. Do you know who the true enemy is?
I have an inkling, but confirmation is always appreciated. I operate on facts, not guesstimations.
He smiles, and I'd like Greta to roll a power check.
Let's just say I have a crit, right? So I'm gonna I fear these power rolls, and I will use a crit on it.
Okay, and so as you're able to stare down into the purple man's eyes, the smirk becomes a full smile, and he says, "What is your theory?"
My theory is that it is Joseph Dietrich, due to the fact that he is harnessing some power to clone himself many times over.
His smile fades a bit. Has he seemed successful in any of his attempts?
She's gonna be like, his success rate is not the highest. 9.
Now, what do you think he is truly doing? Dietrich.
He is attempting to become the Reich. He wants as much power and control as possible.
Why? And then almost dismissively, he just kind of puts his hand up and waves that away as if he doesn't need to know what you think. Who is the true enemy? Who tries and has succeeded in wielding my power?
Greta's gonna kind of pause for a second and look through her notes so she gets the name correct. Herr Beatum?
His smile opens, and instead of white teeth, you simply see a starry void in the mouth. They must be stopped, Caduceus. They have been using you and Dietrich for a long time. You must get to the square of time. I cannot protect you, but there we can stop this from occurring.
Can I, this will sound dumb. I want to insight check, I want to like psychology, I want to try to read this featureless, whatever amorphous person, because that's Greta.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You want to do a psych check on him? I'll let you do it.
Yeah. Just gonna... Extreme! Roll a 2. I want to know.
It's very difficult, since this is a race or a species that you have never, but it seems scared.
Okay. Okay. These are weird notes already today. Alright. She's going to say, now, when you say the square of time, are you referring to New York Times Square, or is this something otherworldly?
He smiles again. I have missed you, daughter. With your prior psychology roll, I will let you know this. That familial quality that he expressed that you did not witness in the shower imagery with Sibella, and with the statements that you had received earlier at the Meetum building, this creature, whatever it is, appears to embody the nowhere. And you all spent several months floating within it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. Favorite place?
I must go. I cannot aid you directly, but I can keep the worms off of you. Do not look at them. The smaller things, the mindless, I cannot control. My influence is governed here.
The verbs.
He starts to disappear.
Butterflies, Allison? Yes.
He disappears.
Fall off the ledge.
Bat dragons.
Lindworms.
Doc?
Okay. Yeah. Did they hear me talking, or was it just me staring off? Yes.
You heard Greta talking in a language that nobody understands, except for Elijah. If he would like to roll a D100 for me, please.
What?
72.
there are elements of it that you kind of find familiar, but you can't place it. You think that it might have something to do with that imagery that you and Dwight saw all of those months ago in Bolivia.
I think everybody here is losing their damn minds.
Do I wake up?
No.
As he disappears, Greta will turn around and kind of look at everybody else and see if, like, they saw that too, or if they're just looking at her like she's crazy.
We're all staring at you.
Basically the latter.
This is a nice, like, the tables have turned. This is so fun for me.
Maybe I don't know as much about our doctors. I thought I did.
Follow Mr. Dwight on the floor.
We're hoping you could illuminate that.
I'll just walk over, take a look at him.
I stay right by her.
Greta, who exactly were you talking to?
Remember when there was that purple mist? The nowhere?
The one that called us children, I think.
Something like
What?
that. Yeah, I was speaking to the embodiment of him. Do I still have the book? The Oculus Rift?
You do.
Okay.
Did you pull that off the shelf?
9.
And it's the Oculen Rift.
Oculen Rift.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Oculen Rift. I fixed my spelling. I know it's even though I write. And I'm just gonna start looking over at Dwight, checking him over while they ask me questions.
Yeah, where'd
I
you
see.
get that?
The embodiment of the purple nova gave it to me.
Great.
You say crazy things all the time, so this should not surprise you.
And you react just like I'm reacting right now, except with less of a smile. Can you read it?
I open it up. Can I read it all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first line of it says that everything's a window.
One of these books.
Doctor, let me see that, please. Can I read it?
No. In fact, the pages are blank.
Does the title sound familiar?
You don't see a title.
She said it, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does not seem
Does
familiar to you.
Elijah see it?
Yep.
Doctor, there's nothing on those pages.
Captain, are you losing your mind now too?
I'm entirely open to the possibility, Mr. Sawyer, but look, they're blank pages.
Look, no, they're not.
Kate looks to Sibella. Am I missing something here?
I don't think so. I think those two are just real sneaky.
Greta, do you speak Nicole or whatever that was?
She's gonna look really confused. Ich sprechen Deutsch, English und Latin.
He looks down at Dwight, looks at the book, and just kind of shakes his head and rubs his eyes. Go to bed, kids. Daddy's home. What are we doing?
We're trying to wake Dwight up.
Yeah,
We gotta
can I-
straight
I meant
answer
about the
either
big-
one of you.
Who is the closest to Dwight right now?
I guess me and Kate, Greta.
Because I went over and I was gonna see what I could do. Because I
Yeah.
just saw him. I looked back and he's on the floor. And I don't know what happened. So
As he's sitting there, and as Dwight is normally dressed in his, a very utilitarian outfit, for a moment you see a flare of fire, and you smell as if somebody has just blown out a candle, and Dwight's eyes open up.
What?
I look around to make sure no one.
What the
actually-
fuck?
Guten Morgen, Dwight.
I kind of grab hold of whoever the closest person to me. I grab them quickly.
Why are you touching me?
Is that the signal?
Well, finally, something's going right.
Do I remember anything?
Nope.
Where are we?
It's a bookstore.
I think.
We are certainly in the bookstore. Where the bookstore is remains to be seen.
There's another roar from outside.
Oh,
What the
Also-
fuck is that?
we should find the square of time. Just saying.
The what?
Is my English not working? The square of time.
No, you just have to say everything twice now before we trust you. Square of time?
Is this something to do with that purple man?
Yeah.
What purple? What the hell are you people talking
What the
about?
fuck are you guys talking about? What is going on?
I'm wearing a purple dress, by the way, since I have a beautiful new wardrobe.
Were we given instructions or a safe place to go?
Could do a
Why
shift.
the fuck am I on the floor?
Dwight?
Because you're lying down. Get up,
Yeah,
boy.
Dwight's getting very irritated very quickly because he has no
Dwight.
clue.
Just stand up and, roll with the punches. We need to go somewhere, according to Doc. So we'll just have to go.
Doctor, do you mean Times Square?
It's not just a tricky question.
I hate this fucking shitty.
Agreed.
Dwight's kind of like trying to brush himself off, like it means anything.
Well, wait till you see what it looks like now, my friend.
What are you talking about?
Well, go look out the. No, don't. Go get your guns.
He gonna faint again.
Dwight already had. Oh well, Dwight would pick up his gun.
I mean, all of them, Dwight.
Yeah, get everything. I pick up my bag that I've had packed since whenever ago.
Am I disoriented at all, GH, or do I have complete faculty of my body?
You're back. Yeah, you're perfectly fine. You just feel like you took a long blink.
Dwight goes
And-
to the door and kind of just kicks it open.
Okay. As you kick it open, there was a roar that was started, and it stops. So you hear a
I
as
put
you kick open
my
the door.
hand, no, I put my hand on you and get very close to your ear. Because I remember this. Quiet.
Did I hear that noise? I immediately am like, stop moving, and I'm just like,
Dwight kind of breathes in, like, is it what I think it is?
I put my hand over his mouth.
Dwight does like almost like a for the grease gun, like anything that would come at him at the door.
You guys are all
And he
standing
goes,
at the
like he
as
just
you guys-
fucked up royally.
as you guys are all standing at the door.
oh, I'm
Um,
not. I'm quiet.
You're back, yeah.
Away.
Yeah, Dwight's
Um,
I
like,
just had a really bad experience.
There is a rumble from about 3 streets over, and something explodes into the sky. It looks very wormy as it erupts into the ground, and you see the tip of it as it explodes up into the air. Who all is at the door?
By the way,
not me.
firms.
Sibella and
Yeah, we were in the process of backing away quietly.
Go on, no spotted.
okay, I would like Sibella and Dwight to roll me a sanity check, please.
I'll just crit it. No,
Crit 'em.
screw that. Screw
Okay.
that.
Roll me a d10. Sibella.
What should I do?
7.
You lose 7 sanity as you see the tip of what is an earthworm of fantastic proportion, a doll, as it pops up in the middle of Manhattan.
Ah, fuck. Success.
Okay, I'll go ahead and... Two sanity down for Dwight as he sees this creature pop up and maybe doesn't get as
I'm
full
sorry, Lauren.
a full view of it as is possible, and it kind of arcs up into the air and then smashes down out of view, but you can still see the length of its kind of segmented body as it moves between the city blocks, seemingly towards the water, away from you all.
What? Dwight's like, what in the fuck? Where are we at?
Close the door.
And he kind of turns around and like, and he closes the door.
What would you all like to do?
Elijah's going to grab a piece of paper and a pen. He's going to start scribbling frantically, meanwhile saying, Doc, I'm feeling way too much anything.
Certainly. So regular size dose?
Make it a double, bartender.
Okay, I'll give him a little bit more than a regular size.
I'll take that too.
Yeah, you might want to consider a double yourself, Dwight.
Incredible morphine. Whoever wants morphine, up.
Any electrical light that was inside the Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian bookstore goes out, as it appears that whatever was powering it to this point has ceased. And so you are thrust in this kind of twilight as the sky outside gives enough illumination to see by, but not nearly as good as you would think with the lights that were existing.
Doc, you have anything stronger than morphine?
Not currently. I did restock my medical supplies. However, morphine is mostly what I picked up since we haven't been taking much lately.
Olympians make do.
So, I do not know exactly where we are. However, the purple has informed me that we should not look at firms. We should go to the square of time if we want to stop Herr Medium and Kadoosh, the Kadoosh box. She's gonna kind of look over at Elijah like, is that the right word?
How big was that thing, Jeej?
The segments that you saw put it about half a city block. Maybe 2 or 3 stories tall if it was laying down.
We have to get the fuck out of here.
Does Sibella have any... Oh, sorry. Go
We
ahead.
need to get to the square of time. Now, I do not know if this refers to Times Square or some interesting extra-dimensional space such as the purple.
Well, it sounds like that's the best lead we got. Now, listen, y'all. We've never seen anything like this before, but it seems like the very worst thing that we could do is to give up on each other at this point. I know. I know. There are lots of reasons not to trust each other, but if we're going to get through this, we're going to need each other. So look, gather up what you need and let's head to Times Square and see if either that's where we need to go or we'll find some other clue along the way. Kate pauses for a moment and then she goes kind of back around behind the counter to grab a bag.
everybody grabbing their stuff like we did before? Your essentials or whatever we kind of said, that you guys are able to kind of get your main equipment together.
Mm-hmm.
And along with it, Kate's, you see her kind of strapping over her back that jetpack that Sibella found, along with all of the artifacts that Thomas hid for us. And she's got the helmet by her side. But if you look real close up along the side of the jetpack, you'll see kind of painted in cursive the name Bell.
Okay. You're able to sling it on. You've been putting it on a couple times and getting the feel of it, getting the weight distribution just on the ground here. You haven't had a chance to actually take it up yet, but you're pretty sure, you are America's flying sweetheart and the skies are yours. So you think, just working with the aeronautics of it, you got an idea. Are you guys heading out?
Dwight grips the shield that he was given.
He grips the what?
Maybe want to check if there's anything else useful in the book and then share the pertinent information more quickly, Doc.
I can spend some time reading here if we'd like. I open the book because I pretty much have all my stuff in my medical bag, and I'll just start reading page 1.
How long do you want to spend?
I guess I will read because Greta pretty much has her all. She's a little paranoid after this past few days of what's happened, so she's got all her stuff just ready to go. So she's probably gonna read until everyone else is ready.
Okay, we'll say that that's about 10 or 15 minutes because this group's ready to scramble at any time. What you're able to figure out here is that from the Oculan book that you're reading, there is an event called the Fold. And the Fold is, in layman's terms, the collapse of every conceivable world, from the outer planes, the outer stars, to the one that we live in, to the worlds beneath where the worms come from. And in so doing, this collapse, the one that initiates the power or initiates this event, this Fold, will rule it all. But that's just that's like the blurb on the back of the dust cover.
Mm-hmm. I will relay this.
And as you guys have spent 10 minutes here getting everything together, another rumble kind of erupts a little bit to the south, closer to the water, maybe around where the tug Pegasus would be. It seems in volume and vibration as big as the one that was the worm erupting. You would think that it was another.
Sibella, you know New York better than any of the rest of us. What's the best way to get to Times Square?
There are a myriad of ways. Just depends if we need to go. Well, I guess maybe nowhere underground, obviously.
I would not suggest it.
Do these words have big fucking mouths? I mean, what do they look like? I mean,
You want to look at another one?
Steven.
yeah, I mean, give me a goddamn idea here, because, like, Dwight's shaking up.
I dropped it on the stream if you want to take a look at it. The Gug is...
A Gug? That's not a worm.
Okay, go.
No, that's what you saw. That's what Elijah saw running down the street whenever you guys looked out.
No, we done fucked that up.
As the Purple Man said, he would be able to keep the big things off of you, but the mindless stuff he had no control over because his influence is governed here.
Mm-hmm.
And you
probably would have relayed that too. When we're preparing to walk out the door, like, now, this is what I was informed.
Okay. So...
I mean, I guess just the shortest amount of time to just cut across at an angle.
Yeah, I mean, as the crow flies, or in New York, as you're able to hit cross streets and main streets to get up there, on the ground walking, it would probably take you 20 to 30 minutes of like really kind of double timing it. But, you guys are all able bodied. So we'll just stay, for the sake of saying it, 30 minutes to get there.
Elijah keeps all of his equipment, like his couple of guns and an outfit on him. He doesn't have much of anything else to grab. While everyone else is getting ready, he's going to make 4-5 copies of the little paper he was scribbling on. And then once everyone gets together, they're ready to go. I think it would behoove us to be as quiet as possible
Agreed.
out there. And in case everyone here doesn't know American Sign Language, I came up with a real system real fast. Like, we'll hold up a number of fingers to communicate basic messages to each other. And he has 1 through 10. Different numbers of fingers mean yes, no, stick together, split up, enemy spotted, I'll go alone, run, open fire, stop, drop, and he hasn't come up with anything for the 10th one.
It's good. Okay, those are your messages you're handing off to everybody?
Yep.
Nice.
Cool.
You all have
He laid him out there.
you are all now the first students of ESL, Elijah Sign Language. So as you guys are heading north towards Times Square, you guys get maybe 5 or 10 minutes into it, and as you round the corner, you're able to stay quiet enough where the rumbles of these larger creatures seem to be on the periphery. They seem to, perhaps it is just luck, perhaps it is the actions of the Purple Man, but these creatures seem to be kind of ringing around you. They seem very dense beyond this halo of where you are, but you don't see any more as you go forward. However, when you round the corner of a cross street ready to head north by a direct route, Kate, you see Calamity Jane crashed in front of you. She's burning.
How far in front of me?
Maybe about 200 feet.
Is it on our path?
Yep.
Kate stops for just a brief moment, but then continues forward.
As you get closer to the craft, you realize that the fire was playing a bit of a trick on you, and that this is not Calamity Jane. But when you get closer, you see that it is the sister craft that was piloted, the last you knew, by one Jack Parsons.
I take just a quick look as we're going by to see if there's anybody in the wreckage.
You can roll me a spot hidden.
Success.
You don't see anything.
Can I take a look as well, since I think Greta was the last person to see him fly into the purple?
Yep.
Nope.
You can't add anything more.
Okay.
That was a brief pause, just walking by, and she didn't stop at all. She just keeps moving in the direction that we're headed.
I hook her arm as she's moving, kind of looking back and forth at it.
Yeah, any of you that have seen Calamity Jane before, Calamity is a very distinct aircraft. This is a mirror of Calamity Jane, and if you weren't as intimate with Calamity as Kate, with it being damaged the way it is, it would certainly look like Calamity Jane to anybody but Kate or Jack.
It's all right, Belle. It's not. That's not Jane.
Is it the only like plane we see? Is this just like complete 1890s or 1800s?
You don't see any cars or automobiles. You don't see any type of trucks or trains or elevated subway systems or anything. But here sits a modern plane crashed in the street and burning.
Yeah, Dwight's eyes are big at Kate, you know.
Kate kind of makes that. She looks down at the paper that Elijah handed her, and just makes the 2 symbol for no. In other words, it's not what you think, it's not relevant, or just no, don't pay any attention to it, and keeps moving.
Okay, I would, as you guys kind of pass the wreckage of the Parsons aircraft, you guys travel north several blocks, not seeing anything. Still, you hear those screams that sound as if they're coming from the next intersection or an alleyway off to the right, as if there are voices that are emanating from a space other than the one that you inhabit, but still you're able to hear these echoes. And as you're kind of getting used to those sounds, I'd like everyone to roll a spot hidden for me, please.
Hard success.
Hard.
Failure for Elijah.
Failure for Greta.
And Kate
Okay.
as well.
Okay, Elijah, Kate, and Greta, I would like you all to roll dex checks here as something explodes from an alleyway on the opposite side.
I'll crit that.
Success for Elijah.
And Greta?
I'm debating. Hold on a second. I'll spit a crit. This sounds bad. I don't like this.
Okay, Greta, that has you at 5, and Kate, I have you at 13 now. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for those of you that succeeded, which is everybody, because you will take 5 damage as this thing bowls into you as it comes out, and it's just pure blunt force trauma as this creature explodes out. Those of you that saw what was coming, we've got Dwight and Sibella. You two are able to kind of spring back as this massive creature, this thing that chased you down in Borneo, explodes back out, and its maw cracks open as it screams into the air. And I would like you all to tell me. No, Sibella and Dwight do not take damage. But at this point, I would like you all to tell me. Actually, everybody roll a dex check. We're going to see who's going to go first, and we're going to do a breakdown here.
I hope I win.
Extreme success for Elijah. Rolled a 4.
Regular.
Okay. Elijah, I'm going to allow you to go first, and then the creature's going to go. I would like to know what you would like to do, Elijah.
Yeah, he's going to do number 7. He's going to sprint as fast as he can in the exact opposite direction. Still trying to go towards the direction they've been heading.
It's a good move.
Okay, so you're heading north. You're just taking off and heading north.
As long as this thing's not directly in my way, yeah.
Nope, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, it kind of went in and it knocked into the people it knocked into. Dwight and Sibella were able to get back. It's in the middle of you, but it seems to be occupied by these 5 different points. As you split off, it kind of turns as if it's going to track that running footsteps for a moment, but then it turns back around. Everybody between Dwight, Sibella, Kate, and Greta, I'd like you to roll a percentile die for me. Highest number is the winner.
What am I rolling?
D100.
Where the hell's that at?
/R_1D100.
Oh, Christ. Roll it for me, Gage.
I'll roll it for him.
You're not going to get worse than Kate.
Or better.
Okay, so as America's Flying Sweetheart is sitting there, this creature tracks Elijah for a brief moment, and then it turns back around. And with a 39, the Gug slaps her for 20 points of damage as she is thrown off to the side. How you doing, Kate?
No dodge or anything for that, Greg?
Nope. This was a surprise round.
Yeah. So, well, that I had 16, so that would kill me. I suppose this is the point at which we engage that mechanic of using 30 luck to escape certain death.
That is exactly the type of time that you use this type of device. So you have 30 luck available to you, Kate?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. So as this creature comes out and swipes down, Greta, this is what you see. As if the Oculin Fold book is showing you things that could have been. You see Kate get torn apart in front of you as the claws go into her chest and sunder her in half. And then, just as quickly as that happened, she reforms, and you see Kate fire off the jets in her backpack as she launches into the sky away from this thing's grip. Please deduct 30 luck points from your...
And hopefully distract it with all of that noise from everyone else.
It gets one attack, and it's spent it on you. Whatever you'd like to do. We're gonna say, Kate, that was your expenditure. We will get back to you at the end of the round. You are not without an action because you did spend 30 luck. But Elijah, I would like you to name the next Olympian other than Kate who you would like to go next.
Let's say Greta.
Okay, how loud is that jetpack?
It's really not that loud.
Yeah.
It's loud, but it's not like, I mean, it's not something you could hear like across the island, you know?
Yeah. Is it like louder than footsteps?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's...
Then I will, being careful not to kick anything like a garbage can lid or something, I'm going to be booking it out of there as well.
Okay, and would you like to roll a dex just to see if you can, you know, not kick a garbage can lid? Or trip? Or, like, land on it?
Yeah.
I've got you at 5.
Okay, I had to look at my notebook. I've not been rolling that great tonight. It's because I rolled really well in my podcast earlier. Yeah, I'm gonna crit that. This thing is nasty. I don't have that much HP. So.
Okay, so as you crit that, taking Greta down to 4,
yep.
you double time it, following Elijah to the north, as you cannot follow Kate into the skies.
7 behind me as I run, just like...
The Olympians throwing up gang signs as they're running around. Okay. Greta, you get to pick the next Olympian you would like to go.
Let's have Dwight go.
I do not normally, or nor would I ever, crit rifle ammo shots because I'm so high. But I am going to crit the grease gun, and I am going to unload on this thing. Buh.
Okay, so you are able to jump up,
and he will destroy it.
Okay, so you jump up onto the nearest, we'll say that there's like a wagon hitch there, that you're able to kind of get some elevation on this thing, and as it reaches for Kate, as she flies up, you jump up and open up with the grease gun.
He knows danger now.
Okay, what I'm going to, you're critting this, so I want you to roll, give me one roll of the grease gun right now, and I'll tell you what else I need.
Can I get advantage?
No, you already critted this, right?
Success.
Okay. And then roll me another. And another.
Hard.
Okay.
I think we're looking at damage.
Yeah.
How many more?
32, 22. No. Don't even, no more.
I continue to succeed.
Okay, so as Dwight jumps up on this hitch and just opens up with the grease gun, we see the America's Flying Sweetheart rocket up in a plume of green as she enters into the purple sky. And as that kind of glow fades from in front of the eyeless creature, it kind of looks around for the next target, opens its mouth to scream again, and that mouth is filled by the burst of this grease gun as this American soldier who has fought these creatures before and doesn't really run opens up into this thing as one half of its jaw, as it opens, splinters and cracks. The teeth and the maw of this almost praying mantis, or this Venus flytrap of a head, goes cracking and splintering off to the side as it spins and gore flies over, some of it hitting on Dwight himself, or it would have. But right before it hits Dwight, anyone that is looking at him, perhaps Sibella is the only one within range, you would see it evaporate about a foot before it gets to Dwight, and you see that there is a golden glow coming from around his chest.
Dwight almost goes frenzy.
Yeah, this thing.
Yeah, go and say he is frenzy now.
Okay, he is grievously, it's
Yeah,
terrifyingly
he is
wounded, this thing. Yeah.
He wants to eliminate this thing immediately.
Yeah, this thing is like dragging its head almost like a dog would if a dog got, some type of facial injury, and how they drag it along the ground. This creature is just banging its head along the ground as it has been ridiculously wounded. It does not appear interested in any of you. This leaves Sibella as the last Olympian to act before Kate gets her turn.
I'll kind of shrug and, move quietly. I kind of smile up at Kate, though, as I see her going into the air, and move quietly the way that Greta went.
Okay, this thing is not paying attention to you, so you are able to quit this scene and move forward. As this creature is down, Kate, as you rocket up into the sky, the pack on your back seems fitting. It seems like it's not moving at all, and you feel very comfortable with your ability to direct your flight in this craft. However, I will make you roll a mechanical repair roll, just as this is your first time kind of blasting off. You are muted.
Thank you, sir. Not a pilot roll?
And this is a mechanical repair as you are kind of getting the triggers and the everything. Yeah.
As a reminder, I get advantage on this.
I know. I was going to say you get advantage on this as well.
Hard success.
Right. I don't forget. Not from America's Flying Sweetheart.
I'm just reminding the viewers, Greg.
The viewers, right. And as it was stated before, the skies are hers, and so are they again as you take to the air in this jet of green. The air only ever conquered in this manner by Thomas Mueller before. But Kate O'Callahan has taken her crown from inside Calamity Jane and placed it in the open air. As you fly and look down, what would you like to do, Kate?
I'm gonna kind of coming up initially just to get away from it, but then up over it, I see Dwight take those shots, and I'm gonna take a serpent gun shot if I can, as I'm maneuvering to kind of land out ahead of where I've seen everybody else running.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Take a shot.
Alrighty. Tell you what, let's crit that shot.
Okay, so roll for damage for me.
Okay. Ugh.
Okay, so as it had 3 hit points left after the effing barrage that was dealt to it by Dwight, you fire and the creature seems to almost accept its fate, as it was without any type of gug medical attention, it was going to die anyway. And with that shot, almost like a dog that, as it just lays there and expires.
So Kate, she took that shot as she was kind of arcing up over it, and kind of allows it to drop without fuel until right before I need to kind of hit those jets to land softly, about 10 feet away from where the rest of the group is, and just look back at them and nod and keep walking back toward Times Square.
Okay. So as you all kind of get back on track and as you all kind of proceed in this direction, Dwight, you kind of shake your head a bit as you know.
Can Dwight kind of look at the dock, be like, let's know me now? How long does that last?
Not very. It's like a haste spell. It needs to be kind of done in the heat of the moment.
Okay. Well, he'll be like, let's know me when I need it, please.
Okay, so as you guys continue towards Times Square, you kind of round the last corner as it opens up in front of you, and unlike what you would see in today's Times Square with the neon, this is just a convergence of roads, the crossroads of America, as it would eventually become known as. And as you walk into this area, realize there's no sounds, the screams that you had heard before, those echoes of terror are not here. They're not present, nor are the sounds of these worms, these dolls, these gugs that are running, these fantastical creatures. But there in the middle of this crossroads of the world, in the middle of this square of time, this time square, there are 10 figures, and they seem to be floating in a loose semicircle, a tendril of purple and white heading from them into the sky.
Do we recognize any of these figures?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Any names?
How close are you getting?
Spot hidden.
Yeah, you guys can roll spot hiddens from back here if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't see anything. I get something in my eye. I'm like, oh.
Looks like Steven and I succeeded.
Okay, so as the two of you are able to kind of look and see what is there, the first of the people that kind of catches your eye, you see in this kind of halo of purple and white light, you see Jack Kilgrave as he floats, almost like he's in a, not the same state that you saw him before, where his eyes were open and he was staring vacantly, or like Dwight was, moments before. But you see him there just kind of almost like he's napping or drowsing or slipping off into sleep, as he's moving a bit and turning as he floats in this column of purple and white. Beside him, in the next column, you see Ruby. And in the next column, you see Syl. You see Thomas Mueller, Einstein, Phil Castillo, Jack Parsons, Wally. And the last two are people that no one else here would know except for the two in which they are fated. Sibella would see her grandfather, and Elijah would see Ruth.
Can I open my book and flip through for purple?
A bit and sees that she is looking at the book, and he kind of nods his head. Then he looks to the rest of the group.
Get the book.
Looks at his paper. 3 stick together. 6. And he's gonna cross the street and go out there towards the rest of them and all these people out there.
I'm gonna look up for a book and be like,
I'll stick with Elijah. I assume they look like they are, you said not unconscious, but kind of out of it.
Yeah, almost like they're either in a moment of where they're just dropping off to sleep or they're just waking up. Sort of that twilight time between dreaming and awake.
Are they... I don't know. So the energy is going from them up?
It seems to be going up into the purple storm above you.
Any markings around them as we move closer? Anyone else around? Like something else going to them or sticking out?
You can roll spot hidden for me. With your crit, I will tell you the following. There's nobody else around. There are no symbols around these 10 figures. And there doesn't seem to be anything indicative or different about any one column of purple-white energy to the next. They all seem to be, at least in their capture state, the same. And with that crit, you will also see a purple man step out from one of the alleys and begin to walk towards you. You recognize him.
I will wave.
I'm way in the back.
He walks up to Strider and Sibella, or Elijah and Elijah and Sibella. Too many S's, too many E's. He looks at the ones that are around. These are the ones they wanted me to feed on.
Well, are you full yet?
No.
If we remove them, what would happen?
For every one that you remove, there is a chance, greater and greater, that this will end.
Good and bad. I cannot read your expressions.
I will be stopped, and that is what you want.
Is Elijah seeing him too? Is he didn't see
Yep.
What about?
Yeah, Elijah is. Everybody's seeing him at this point, so this is the first time for a couple people.
And also hearing all of that?
As everyone else notices him, I just look over like, yeah, I'm not crazy.
Except nobody's paying attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I do it because that's what Greta would do. She would be like, yeah, see?
Dwight would almost shoot him.
I swear to...
If I saw the rifle barrel coming up, I would grab it and
Just knock him out, Katie.
push it back
I
down
could knock him out.
one of these days.
So... Would you be okay with us doing that?
If I was a betting man, I'd say there has to be some kind of catch.
He pulls up his featureless, nailless hands that contain 3 fingers and a thumb, and he reaches out as if he's going to touch each of your faces, and he stops before he does so. It may be easier this way.
Dwight would not let that happen.
Nothing's happening. What do you mean? Easier what way?
For you to understand.
Kate doesn't resist.
Dwight
No,
completely resists.
Elijah's
You guys
Eli-
up here?
touch him.
Elijah's not going to allow it?
He's not going to resist. He's gonna.
Oh, okay.
He'll walk towards him.
Okay, so as soon as he has 2 people that are accepting, and Kate and Elijah, he immediately touches your faces. What you understand is the following. These people in the purple and white energy were handpicked by Caduceus. They were used specifically to tether you all to this place. They are attached to whatever entity it is that is currently touching you. They are powering him or it or her and enabling what is known as the fold that Greta was able to briefly kind of label. Mechanically, you have to remove these people from the purple and white. For each person that you remove from the purple and white, you will have a 5% chance of stopping what's going on. This percentage is cumulative, but you get to decide who goes first.
Remember that conversation.
Sibella,
Yes? What? I'm looking at Elijah.
Yeah, 9. Last one's gained.
Sibella.
Oh, what? Grab someone first?
You need to pick who you would like to come off of this first, And as your benevolent keeper, I will tell you this. The first person that comes out of this pile starts at 0. They will have no chance to succeed. If somebody does not make the roll when they come off, they die.
I think I'm still missing something. Sorry.
What role are we making?
You're not making any roll.
Captain, you remember that conversation you and I had in the cemetery, right?
I do.
If you had to choose between saving someone, else die.
At this point, as you all are standing there, you are close enough to these columns of light that you hear the following. Well, my Olympians. And when you look up, you see Jack Kilgrave is awake. Y'all know what must be done here, right? He kind of moves his head as much as it will be allowed from right to left, kind of taking in the other people that are in this situation with him. Gotta stop it. That's why we all got together, for country.
And you fucking roll, Jack.
Well,
What are we doing here?
you're choosing, Mr.
I
Burke.
choose you, Jack.
It would be a good idea to give back to your projects now, Jack.
I agree.
Do we understand how we're just going to have to grab them? Are we wishing this to happen?
If you make a decision as a group,
As
that
a group.
person will come off of the column.
Yeah, the fuckface that put us together.
I have to agree with Soldier Boy. Not eloquent, but I think his heart's in the right place.
I don't think you decide something like this out of spite.
I agree. Jack, you've done this to us. That's your decision.
Oh,
Kate steps right up into Dwight's face, and she taps that cross on his chest and says, Mr. Burke, this does not give you the right to play God.
Katie, we're Olympians. We are gods. This is our responsibility.
Religion is a construct made to make
Yeah,
people better.
Yeah, kind of the way expression changes a little bit. Okay. We did not ask for this. We are what it is. And he is what is done. Now, I've done a lot for this man, and I don't know him. But he knows it's his time. Am I wrong, Jack?
clear as crystal, Mr. Burke. I am an Olympian, of course. From a long time ago. He looks at Kate. If I may, Miss O'Callaghan, for my last act as an Olympian, I volunteer to go first.
Dwight goes, Kate.
Kate just nods.
Jack, I might have had you pegged wrong this whole time. If all this is true and I understand the situation correctly, you're a paragon among Olympians.
Jack kind of moves his head as much as he will allow
Dwight
and looks at
salutes him.
Elijah. And he looks at Elijah and he says, "Nah, you had me pegged right. Well, maybe somewhere in the middle." And you see him, as he's floating there, start to straighten his jacket as he starts to lower to the ground. And for those of you that are close enough to hear, you hear him saying, "My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
Civil War.
Land where my fathers died, land of pilgrim's pride." He takes a step forward. "From every mountainside," and he looks at all of you. "Let freedom ring." And you see him disappear into dust. Who's next, Olympians?
Kate says, she kind of braces herself. This is tough. But then Ruby Foster's too powerful. She's too powerful. We've all thought it. If that power falls into the wrong hands, then everything we fought for is lost.
She's also a child.
Kate just raises her eyebrows at Greta as if to communicate, "You're gonna argue about this?"
She's
Dwight
just
closes his eyes.
Why?
Because this is what's happened. And he goes second. He doesn't give him a chance to even discuss it. He kind of like breathes in, like this is his fate.
what?
I think we have to come to the decision as a group.
Yeah.
I'll give him a decision.
You can't engage.
Yeah.
Dwight's trying to take a spot.
Yeah.
Dwight walks forward and you see a tendril of purple and white come down and take him into the air. Who is next, Olympians? Dwight does not have a say.
Kate looks at Sibella and says, "I'm right, aren't I?"
You think there's a ride? That's, I point out, that's my grandpa.
Greg, would you mind reading off everyone who's left for me one more time?
We have Ruby, we have Syl Jefferson, we have Thomas Mueller, Einstein, Phil Castillo, Jack Parsons, Louis Ives, Wally, and Ruth.
I don't think I could do that, Katie. I don't disagree, but
We're not picking Ruby Foster. She's one of us, and we are extraordinary and exceptional. I don't mean that in a narcissistic way. I mean, with everything that's going on, we might be needed, and she might be needed as well. Kate, I'm not gonna let her die. Hell, I will before she does.
Well, then one of the rest of y'all speak up and make a choice.
Do y'all know who that is? And he raises a finger and points towards Wally.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
Tell me about him.
Wally was my navigator on my first round the world attempt. I saved his life when we crashed. I was a bridesmaid in his wedding. He's one of the closest friends I've got.
So,
This is really ugly, but still,
just a logical choice.
yes, I
Logics.
love being logical.
What does logic have to do with this, Doctor?
Logic is in everything.
I don't think you've been paying much attention these last few weeks.
Any of
Elijah's
the
gonna.
others might give us a better chance of fighting if they get out of here.
Elijah's gonna scoot over and he's gonna grab Sibella's hand. That's not the choice I was expecting to hear coming from you, Sibella. I got you back though, if that's what you think's right.
I don't think it's right.
As soon as three of you has mentioned Syl, you see her eyes come awake as she looks up, as both Greta, Elijah, and Sibella have mentioned her as a possibility. And she looks around as much as she will be allowed. What's going on?
Hi, Syl.
Hi, Miss Ives.
I think you're just gonna be going to sleep for a while.
Okay. And she looks over at Kate. I'm finally going to fly.
And Kate forces herself to look into Syl's eyes. And she nods.
Okay. Okay. And she takes a step forward.
Schlafen Sie gut.
Sibella, I'd like you to roll a D100.
Is low good, like always?
0 to 5. Olympians, the dice will tell the story.
Not at all.
As was with Jack Kilgrave, so is it with Syl Jefferson, as she just fades away.
Sibella,
next?
none of this is fair, none of this is right. Soldier Boy's doing his part, I'll do my part too. I'll take the weight of responsibility of choosing off your shoulders anyway. You don't have to feel guilty about it. Thomas Mueller is next.
Unlike the others, Mueller doesn't seem to be roused from this fugue state. As was mentioned before, he is gaunt to the point of looking skeletal, as if he has been racked by some terrible disease, or he has been subjected to some terrible ordeal. And as his name is mentioned, the light changes color, but there's no other indication that he has heard you. Is he your choice?
The boy just saved my life 2-3 days ago. But there's nothing for him even if we do bring him back.
Greta nods her agreement. Yeah.
For the last time, Thomas Mueller leaves the skies as he floats from the air and his feet touch the ground, as a consensus of Olympians have decided that he is to go. And as his feet touch the ground, he disappears not in the dust that was shown before, but a flash of green.
Wait a second.
Elijah, I'd like you to roll a D100 for me.
55 is too much.
He disappears.
Now, y'all just stop for a second. Just stop. There's gotta be some other way. There's gotta be some other way. Like, what if one of us, I don't know, could like one of us pick all of them and then maybe take their own place and take the risk or something? We just gotta think about this for a minute. There's gotta be a better way.
If you had a choice, you'd save them all.
I'm muted. There is not always a win-win situation.
Wow.
No, Callahan.
You can go straight to hell with your logic, Doctor. Why don't we just think about it for a minute?
Okay.
I could read this book more, if you like.
I mean, isn't this kind of like one of those things where, how does that work? There's a fox and a turtle and a rabbit or something, and they need to get to the other side of the. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Greta, could you read, please, as fast as you can?
Yeah?
If she's gonna read, Elijah's gonna pace, and he's just gonna walk around looking at all these people suspended in their light.
The purple man says, "The time for that is past."
You can go straight to hell too.
Where do you think we are?
I asked Katie who Parsons is.
Well, he's my business partner. And was the one who was trying to find me.
I'm reading while they talk. Just.
What about that other woman up there at the end? I don't recognize her at all.
I do pause when she says that, though. I'm like, and then read really faster.
Are you indicating Ruth?
Yeah.
Elijah's going to reach into his little side bag and try to find his snake gun. See if it'll equip around his arm, coil up on him.
It does.
He's going to pull it out and point it directly at her. Not at Ruth, at Kate. Like I said, I'm not letting that happen. There's important people here, and I'll die first before them.
Well, feel free to take your place, Mr. Sawyer.
Or we can pick other people until it comes down to a few left.
What about the German? He was nice to us, sure, for a day or two, but he's never done anything for us.
Dr. Einstein is one of the most brilliant scientists alive, Mr. Sawyer.
One of the most.
What's your choice, Olympians? You have Ruby, Einstein, Phil, Jack Parsons, Louis Ives, Wally, or Ruth.
We all
Or
have people here
or Dwight.
close. We all have people here we're close to and that we know. The only folks we all know are Einstein, Dwight, and Phil. I know the answer, but is anyone willing to throw their hat in the ring for Phil Castillo?
Don't even think about it. I will kill you myself.
Well, I'm glad we're in agreement then.
Greta kind of was
You don't gotta
reading,
vote.
but raised her hand.
Well, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I know my friends. Charles Wallace is a fighter pilot, one of the best pilots that ever lived, and I love him like he's my brother. But I know that if it were his choice, he'd go first. And Jack, well, old Jack Parsons loves to play the odds. So those are my cards, Olympians, on the table. If you agree.
I'll be your safety net, Captain. I always have your back.
Only if you really mean it, Katie.
Y'all take my friends. I'm not going to take yours.
Elijah's votes for Wally then.
Greta would second it.
As soon as three have mentioned Wally's name, his eyes flutter open. Kate! What's going on?
It's time to take one last flight, my friend. And don't you worry about Susie. I'm going to take care of her, all right?
I know you will, Kate. You bought me a good life. Saved me in the ocean. I think maybe now I can save you a bit. Tell her I love her.
I will tell her. I'll tell her every day, Wally.
Tell her I'll check in on her from time to time.
I know you will.
Okay. And he steps down. Kate, roll a D100 for me. And Wally's gone.
Time to wake up, Mr. Parsons.
Is anybody second or third out?
Yes.
And as Parsons wakes up, his eyes flutter open, and Kate, as you are the closest to him, you see that his eyes are the same color as the void. They are just stars.
Kate gasps to see it.
Katie.
I'm right here, Jack. I'm right here. What?
It's
What?
all just windows. Don't worry. It's all just windows.
Jack, thank you. Thank you, my friend. For everything.
Thank you, Kate O'Callahan, for being the best partner a man could ever hope to have.
Let's
He
have that
steps
dinner
forward.
sometime, all right?
He steps forward. Roll a D100 for me, Kate. Jack disappears.
How many people is that? What are we up to?
We're at 30%, I believe. We have Ruby, Einstein, Phil, Ruth, Lewis, and Dwight.
All right. So I think the next choices, and I'm not indicating anything, are between Einstein and Grandpa. I've thought he was dead for a long time. He may be like me. We may logically prefer for him to be here, but
Sibella, he's the only family you got.
oh, I'll die inside, Katie.
I've gotten to know each and every single one of you over these last few months, and I've hated every single minute of it. We bicker, we argue, we can never come together on a decision by any means. Certainly that means we're some kind of family. Sibella will still be here for you. None of us have to be alone.
I don't want you. Any of you. Einstein or Grandpa?
My vote then, Einstein.
Anyone else care to chime in?
Is there a third vote?
All right, Dr. Einstein, it is.
And with the admission of the third and the majority reached, Einstein shakes his head a bit as he begins to lower. Ooh. Ooh. I'm flying like Thomas.
Greta at this point would actually stand up and approach a bit and say, Guten Tag, Herr Einstein.
Oh, guten Tag. Dr. von Kraus, is it not?
Yeah, you would be correct.
What is happening?
Worlds colliding. I think the theory would interest you.
Fascinating. And this purple. I've heard of this purple.
We are experiencing an event called the Fold.
The fold. He's continuing to lower. Well, why can't I move?
Unfortunately, events have taken place in which sacrifice necessary to realign space and time.
Whoa. Like mortal sacrifices.
Indeed.
Then I volunteer myself for this process, sacrifice.
You always were very excitable about science.
Oh, my dear, you know that death is not the end. And his feet touch the ground. Greta, I'd like you to roll a D100 for me, please. You need a 25. Or 30, excuse me. Einstein disappears.
Greta spins on her heel, walks back down to the curb, and opens the book again.
Five remain Olympians.
Grandpa.
You're gonna pick the man who raised you over the man you met last week.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I thought he was dead, that's all. Fine, I take it back.
At this point, Kate looks over at Elijah, and as she does, she's backing toward the circle and says, Mr. Sawyer, there are only 3 of you left. You know what to do.
Can I try to grab her?
I'll try to grab her too. I'm not gonna let her do that.
Fuck that. I'm sorry.
This would be dex checks from Elijah and Sibella versus a dex from Kate.
Regular success.
Allowed to crit it?
I was gonna say, what happens if we all crit it?
I'm gonna make you roll anyway because we have to figure out who does this. So straight rolls, what it's gonna be.
Fine.
Fuck.
Kate O'Callahan, America's flying sweetheart, returns to the skies, for they are hers, as she floats above in a purple and white energy stream.
She always was one for rash decisions.
No,
Yeah.
We're gonna do things her way. We're gonna get everyone out of this.
Elijah, I think you might be right.
I've been reading this book for like, 5-10 minutes. Have I picked up anything new?
You're kind of, glancing through here quickly. Give me a library skills use, and I'll tell you what you find out.
I'm gonna crit it.
There's no way out of this.
Okay.
You have to interrupt the life forces have to interrupt this ritual for you guys to have a chance.
In that case, Greta's gonna kind of try to catch Elijah's eye, close the book, and just... I think that's... no, yeah.
Elijah, I think you're right. Oh. And I hate you.
Elijah silently wills his vote for Phil.
Oh, Greta does the same.
Fuck.
As the
Lindy, stop it, actually. Stop it.
as the voices say out the name Phil Castillo, whether it's by tongue or by thought, Phil's eyes flutter open as he begins to lower from the sky. He is dressed in the same suit that you remember him wearing when he met you that night in the club. As he begins to lower. What's going on, Sibella?
Oh, just
That bad, huh?
yeah.
He looks to his right and left, and he sees that Kate is floating just off to his right. Yeah, this is a good choice.
I don't think.
Nah, I'd have picked her too, if I'm being honest. Well, I would have gone him over to Elijah or Daryl Leck. Maybe like the soldier. Definitely the crowd.
I just
But-
flipped him off.
Definitely the crowd. Nah, this is all right. I was never going to live very long anyway, right? Huh? Had a good last week, though. Better than I deserve, I think.
I think I probably would have loved you.
I think I do love you. His feet touch the ground. Sibella, I'd like you to roll a D100 for me. We're looking for a 35 or lower. Phil Castillo does not go anywhere. And the purple man smiles that void smile as the sky above sunders and splits. The blue and the whites of the world that you know creeping and forcing its way back in as you hear screams that are more barbaric, screams that are more ethereal and horrific, no longer the screams of humanity, but the screams of the things that are being forced back into the shadows. And before you, the others, Ruth and Ruby, Louis Ives, Dwight, and Kate, drop to the ground. All save the Olympians fade, not in the same way as the others that were sacrificed, but they fade as if they are returning to a world that the Olympians cannot. And Sibella, in your possession is a puzzle box, and you feel it vibrating in your hands as you reach and pull it forward. And as you look at it, where before it said, "Open only at the French Cathedral in Berlin," the words lift off of the box and begin to spin different words and letters and languages that you've never seen in an infinite number of suggestions or phrases or combinations as Kate and Dwight hit the ground and awaken and look, and as the Olympians are again reunited, those of Project Athena, the world around them disappears. And Sibella, as you are staring at this box, the words that are spinning on these discs of two-dimensional possibility, they begin to slow as they form a new sentence. And as you all look up, It is a pleasant evening in a city only one of you probably knows, and you are standing in front of a beautiful cathedral. And suddenly, from the alleyways and the rooftops, all around this square in front of this cathedral, step Joseph Dietrich. 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200, like a wave, ants that look the same. They come out, all of them pointing their handguns at you. And as they sit there and as they wait and as they judge with that same Aryan smirk, as they look, a smaller man steps forward with a hat pulled low. And as we Olympians know, a hat can disguise just about anybody. And as this hat comes off, a man in his 50s, with a familiar set of blue eyes, looks at you, and you all realize that this is Joseph Dietrich. And he says, "So, my fellow Olympians, are you ready to save the world?" And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to end this season of Project Athena. Yay! Oh, awesome! I know that, but no, you're awesome. I know I am, but no, keep it down. We're just talking. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, I give you Allison. What did you think?
I love this cast so much. You can find me on Twitter at Allison Robinson with 2 L's and a Y. Catch me on God's Fall and Wander Quest, 2 amazing podcasts. And probably next season on Project Athena.
There's a 5% chance.
Okay, I deserve that.
That Lindy.
I'm going to take that little nugget, put that feather in my cap, and head on over to Lauren. Lauren, what did you think of tonight?
I'm sorry, Greg. I'm gonna need a bit. It's a process.
Okay.
I love you, but I'm gonna need a bit. You can find me on Twitter at that salty ginger. I'm gonna play some real fucking lighthearted D&D 5e tomorrow on Encounter Roleplay at 1 p.m. Eastern. Come over there. I'm gonna need a bit. I'm done.
Okie dokie, thanks for that, Lauren. We're gonna go on over to Dwight, who
I feel pretty good. I saved people. I sacrificed myself. I did nothing
You
to.
lost me 7 sanity.
Oh.
There's that.
Yeah, I did that. But listen, no, that was Greg. Don't blame me. Blame him for rolling that. No, you're blaming me. Okay. Well, I did nothing to hurt people. I wanted to help people. A lot of people ran from a lot of situations, and they made very selfish situations for themselves. I don't even know where these people are at. I'll just point it that way. I saved myself. Greg, I hope you understood that. And
I didn't, but it does.
Stage
That's
3, I've still got 29 health.
There you go. See, you're
I
fine.
walked away with life.
Right, you're not psychologically scarred like everybody. Hey, Strider, how's Elijah doing tonight?
Oh man, I'll try to find some middle ground between Steven and Lauren here. I want to be the guy that gets to make like some cool end of the season like self-sacrifice and save everybody, but I got to be true to my character, and he's a dick, so I got to be a dick. Lauren, I know Sibella hates Elijah, but hopefully Lauren doesn't hate Strider.
I don't hate Strider.
It
But
was
I'm real
tremendous.
convincing.
Oh, I had to ask. Yes, very convincing. Big shout out. I was going to do this beforehand. Greg ruined it, but big shout out to him for putting this all together, being the mastermind behind all of it. Everyone gets an episode that's like about them, and they got to be in the spotlight for a minute, or at least at the end, we all say, oh, hey, really good job role playing. But Greg plays everybody. We're 5 Olympians. He's 6 billion people. So don't be too mean to him in the chat and on Twitter, please. I'm Strider Heap. You'll catch me around. You'll see me places. The most important one is here on Sundays. Elijah Sawyer is going to be back and sassier than ever.
Nice, brother. Nice. Yes, the sass returns, I think, from numerous sources, as it's never really dried up for me. But let's go over to Lindy. Lindy, the queen of the backdrops now that she is addicted to all things green screen.
Bad.
Yeah, you better stop that cycle. I knew
What?
the next one that was going to
What?
pop up.
Sorry. What?
Oh my god.
Love you, Lauren.
I love you so much.
I am much more emotional than Greta is currently. Greta only really felt a little bit of something pretty much for Einstein, and maybe like an ounce of empathy for Jack Parsons. I was really worried it was gonna come down to one person left in the purple, and Elijah and Greta pointing guns at each other. I was real worried it was gonna come down to that. I was like, whew, this is gonna be bad. But thankfully it didn't come down to that, so my worst fears were allayed. Yeah, that was intense. It was not what I was expecting at all. And it was very difficult to stay in the cold-hearted, like, non-emotional Greta as all of this was going on. You can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch and Twitter. I am doing a lot of fun stuff like this every Sunday. And then earlier on Sundays, you can watch RPGN on WebDM's channel, where we do a bunch of awesome clip shows from, like, you know, clips from throughout the week, and you should submit them and stuff because it's great. And then Tuesdays, you can watch me and Greg, currently not being really mean to each other because our characters don't hate each other anymore, on Tomes and Tentacles. And then you can come to my channel on Tuesday evenings for Out of the Abyss, Wednesday afternoons for Call of Cthulhu on Encounter Roleplay, Doors to Darkness, and then 3 hours later, Greg said that, and then 3 hours later, you can watch Strider DMing me as a blind girl on Star Wars RPG.
Rise of the Dark Side.
Rise of the Dark Side, and Thursday evenings, WebDM again for Land Between Two Rivers, and then every Friday you can also find me here for Firefly RPG, because that's super great. We didn't almost TPK this past week or anything. And then every other Saturday you can find me on Power Score RPG for whatever D&D stuff's going on. And then also on every other Saturday that's not that Saturday, we're doing Pirates of Paradise for the next few weeks, and it's gonna be fun. And Greg said that too, but I'm his DM then. That's it.
And scene. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, I have a blast doing this. As much and as horrible as it is, I live each of these characters. What Strider said, when I have to be the other characters, it's tough because I grow very attached when, as all of you do that are DMs out there. There are so many of you that create characters and create content, and you're writers and poets. And when you create these children for you, everybody from a fucknut like Phil Castillo all the way to somebody that's super pure like Syl Jefferson, that you've got this background for, that you love that character and you want to explore a little bit more of them. Saying goodbye to them is so terribly difficult because it's like you said in Unforgiven, you're taking away everything they've been and everything that could possibly be. And I don't do any of that lightly, and I don't do any of that for dramatic effect. This was something I had planned from the beginning of the season, and like I said at the top of the show, I second-guessed myself up until I did it. And I think that is the right thing to do at any time. But I love these people. I love playing with these people. They bring 90% of this story to you all in the best, and I couldn't ask for a better pulp story. 1 minute we're flying on jetpacks or dogfighting zeppelins, and the next we're picking our loved ones to go out in a vapor cloud. That's Pulp Cthulhu. That's all it is. And that's what we are, and we are stuck here in 1933. What I would like to do now is, normally I say goodbye from 1933 and tell you that we will be back. I believe that I'm taking a week off as I am spent. So we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully everybody comes back. I'll be talking with Allison. I'll be talking with everybody that has a little nugget left for me. But after that earful, and after we have some story left for these Olympians as they are taking their fight in a different direction, and we'll see how that goes in season 3. On the channel here, we do have Firefly every Friday from 2 to 4. Please check us out there. Also, starting next month in June, we will have Conan, Age Undreamed Of. That'll also be on Fridays from 12 to 2. So if you want your pulp block of Conan, and then followed by a little Firefly action, and then coming back here to us every Sunday night so we can cap your weekend. We can start your weekend and we can cap your weekend. And by God, we are going to do it right.
I have 2 shows.
Yep. We'll see. And then as this concludes too, I should also say that if you need some more Olympians in your life, Project Kronos will be getting in June as well. Stay tuned for that. Please follow on the Twitches and the Twitters. Later on this summer, Flash Gordon's coming too. But until then, we are going to Arvin Eleron's channel. He is raising money for cancer awareness and cancer research. Please go over, and if you've got $5, throw it his way, because it's desperately needed. The fight against cancer is not over, and every fight needs several soldiers. Go be one of those. We'll be waiting for you here in 2 weeks' time. So please, get out there. Enjoy 2018 as best you can, but remember, we are here in 1933, and we are waiting for you.